Civilian Conservation Corps came to San Clemente State Beach in 1934. During the Depression of the 1930s, the Civilian Conservation Corps was one of President Roosevelt's most popular New Deal programs. It put some 250,000 previously unemployed young men back to work. Many people of the Depression, especially young men, were without jobs and undereducated. Not only did the CCC provide work, housing, and food, it also offered training in vocational skills and educational instruction. The pay was $1 a day, and each month workers sent home $25 to their families and were allowed to keep $5 for personal expenses. San Clemente State Beach was a matching gift from the H.H. Cotton Company in 1931. Ole Henson, the visionary who started the town of San Clemente, developed the park with the same Spanish colonial style as the town using adobe construction. The Civilian Conservation Corps built San Clemente State Beach into a park between 1934 and 1937. The CCC not only brought much-needed work and purpose to many young men, but also provided the community with a wonderful natural resource by developing the park. July and August 1934 saw the establishment of the CCC camp at San Clemente State Beach. Over 250 men were to arrive, so preparations for them including setting up temporary housing in 5-man waterproof tents and erecting a houseboat tent. The mess hall and 2 other large administration buildings were temporarily made out of wood because regulations at the time required adobe construction for permanent buildings. Young men ages 18 to 25 signed up for the program. They were to be single, unemployed, not in school, and a United States citizen. They served 6 months at a time for no longer than 2 years. Clothing, bedding, toilet, and mess kits were issued by the Army. Men slept on metal cots with mattresses and 5-man tents. The camps provided medical care, and a doctor was on duty in the hospital tent. The San Clemente camp had a commanding Army officer in charge and a project superintendent who managed the jobs. The young men were grouped under various foremen and leaders who were responsible to teach them the skills necessary to accomplish the work. Each Civilian Conservation Corps camp was set up in the Army style, although not as structured as the Army. The young men awoke early to a bugle call, readied for the day, stood for instruction, ate breakfast, received their tools, loaded onto trucks, and went to work. The food was basic but wholesome. The boys often came into the program malnourished and underweight. After 3 months, Maney gained almost 12 pounds. After the workday was done, the boys had free time until the evening meal. The camp was set up on a boxing ring and volleyball court. After dinner, educational classes were offered. Music was an important part of camp life. The young men would participate in sing-alongs and were entertained by singers, bands, and even an orchestra from the company. Not only did the men work on projects at San Clemente State Beach, but they also worked at Doheny State Beach at the same time. They fought fires as needed and were sent to other work sites. The project superintendent managed several projects for the company, including construction of a residence and garages, setting up an adobe brick plant, and developing the park's roads, picnic, and camping areas. The men received commendations for creating Spanish-style camp, which included handcrafted wooden signs in English and Spanish. The adobe era was the adobe manufacturing plant. The herreria was the blacksmith's area. The large sign says State Park Office. Erosion control was a big project. Men did the work by using hand tools, rocks from the local area, including the Santa Margarita Creek bed. Despite setbacks of weather and minor earth tremors, the worker completed the projects. As you walk through San Clemente State Beach, you can see their handiwork, starting with the visitor center, which was a custodian's cottage. Other work completed and still standing today is the administration building, which was part of the garage complex and rock work throughout the park, including road curbs. The long adobe wall still stands around the administration building and visitor center. Several companies stayed in the CCC camp at San Clemente State Beach during 1934 to 1942. Many young men said the time they spent in the Civilian Conservation Corps changed their lives. In 1942, the CCC was disbanded, but its legacy still lives on today. As you visit beautiful San Clemente State Beach, remember the hard work of these young men made an invaluable contribution to what we enjoy today.